Till now, any doubts in the previous classes? Okay, so whosoever are new participants, so I'm Prableen, and I'm a PMRF scholar from IIT Tirupati. So we are going to start the week 3 of today's computer network lectures. Though we have to complete some week 2 lectures as well, the tutorial of that is also left. And I'm uploading the recorded videos on the YouTube channel, and the channel name is Prableen Kukreja. I'm writing in the chat box as well. Any feedback related to the previous lectures? Still people are joining. Okay, let's start the class because already it's 6:02. So any feedback which you want to give? Okay, let's start then. Okay, I thought we can go with the assignment 1 and assignment 2. The solutions are here only, as you might have seen in the website also. So any doubts in these assignments? Though we'll go through, I'll go very fast through these assignments so that any doubt if anyone is having, we can discuss that. So can any one of you read and explain the first? Okay, I'll read it. And can any one of you explain how it's A? How many collision domains are in 10-port hub, 8-port switch, and 4-port router, respectively? A collision domain is a segment where if more than one device tries to send data simultaneously, it causes a collision and data is lost. Okay, I'll try to be slow as well. Now, first of all, can anyone tell me the broadcast domain and collision domain? How many collision domains? What is the concept of collision domain and what is the concept of broadcast domain in various layers? We have already discussed. Yes. Yes. How the answer is A, or how, what is collision domain? What is broadcast domain? Am I audible clearly? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Okay. Can anyone tell me about the collision domain and broadcast domain in various layers? Or can anyone tell me the answer of this question 1, how it's A? Though it's written as well, but still, can you explain as we have discussed in the class? Yes, come on. Okay, first question. Do network, before network layer, I'll ask. Okay. What about network layer? Are they having the same collision domain? They share the same collision domain and broadcast domain, or they are having different collision domain and different broadcast domain? Yes, come on, you have solved this assignment as well as we have discussed in the class. Just give a try. If you haven't understood, I'll go back.
Madam, you can explain that just briefly.
Okay. Or I'll go to the... So we have already discussed about this collision domain and broadcast domain. So collision domain is maybe we'll switch back. Please mute yourself. So collision domain is I gave you a visual representation, like there is a single room and more than two people are speaking at the same time, and then uh, because there is a collision in them, because more than two people are speaking at the time, we can't understand it. That is why it's better to have the multiple rooms, so that each device have its own room and can take talk simultaneously in different rooms. So if both of the people, more than two people, they are speaking in the single room and the conversation is getting overlap, means they are sharing the same collision domain. I'm referring from a layman example to this. Means they both are transmitting, more than two devices are transmitting at the same time, at the same area. They have a single room. That is basically a collision domain. So if the two devices are sharing the same collision domain, they are at the same place, they are in the single room, that is, they are sharing the same collision domain. If I talk about the application layer, yes. In so much of disturbance.
Hello.
Yes. I request everyone, please unmute yourself if you are having any doubt. Otherwise, keep your mic on mute or raise your hand if you are having any doubt.
Okay, ma'am.
So that is basically a single room. More than two people are talking at the same time, which means that they are having the collision, the conversation is getting overlap. So we moved it to a switch scenario. This was a hub scenario, which means like we were talking about the hub in the physical layer, then we switch to the data link layer. In the data link layer, that is like we are having the separate collision domain to avoid the collision. Now, one more thing, the other concept was of broadcast domain. Broadcast domain was like if someone is broadcasting, if someone is announcing, then like A, B, C, D, suppose we have an office and A, B, and C, D, they are in different rooms, which means they have different collision domain. A, B is having one, C, D is having one. But when manager is basically announcing it, then also if there are multiple managers, then the announcement can also be collide, which means when there is a frequent announcement and manager is announcing, then also there can be a collision. That is broadcast domain. So in data link layer, they are sharing the broadcast domain, but they're not sharing the collision domain. Whereas in the physical layer, they are sharing both the collision domain as well as the broadcast domain. And when we come to the network layer, they have different collision domain as well as different broadcast domain. We have already discussed in detail about this. This was just a concise explanation, like a summarized explanation of that. If you want to see, like if you haven't attended the first lecture, you can see in the YouTube channel as well this video. And again, if you'll have any doubt, I'll again come and explain this concept again. Now coming to what is which layer is the hub. Now can you tell me like a hub is which layer? Physical layer, data link layer, network, or transport layer?
Hub is a physical layer, man.
So physical layer, as I told, they have they share the same collision domain as well as same broadcast domain. Now what they're asking is like a collision domain is a segment of a network where if more than one device tries to send data, it causes collision. Okay, how many collision domain are there in 10 port hub? So now can you answer this question? How many collision domain are there in 10 port hub? Yes, come on.
Only one.
How one?
Because all the 10s actually connected to the same hub, so the collisions might occur.
So they are yes, absolutely correct, everyone. So we all the hubs basically they are sharing the same collision domain, that is a one collision domain. What about switch and what about router? How it's 8 and 4?
Ma'am, they will connect in multiple devices.
So they are not sharing the collision domain. So that is why it's like everyone will have their own collision domain as well as the everyone is having this different collision domain. They are not sharing the collision domain. So 8 ports, 8 collision domain. 4 ports, 4 collision domain. Now, if I change the question and if I ask about broadcast domain, what will be the answer here? Can you tell me? If my question is, how many broadcast domain are there in 10-port hub, 8-port switch, and 4-port router? Yes, Aman, you're absolutely right. Now, can you answer this? 114. Absolutely correct, Aman. So,
114.
yes, absolutely correct. So, how 114? Just a quick answer.
Switch has the same broadcast domain.
Yes. Okay, yes. So switch has share the same broadcast domain. So that is why 8-port switches will share only like they'll share the same broadcast domain. So that is why one. Hub will also share the same broadcast domain, whereas router, it's a network layer. And now only we saw that they're having different broadcast domain for each of them. So that is why 4. Any doubt in this? NIC, router, bridge, or hub? It's simple only. Hub is physical layer. And now only we saw. Now bridge is basically the data link layer. Router is network layer. And NIC, that is also a data link layer. Okay. Any doubt in this question 3? Can any one of you quickly read it? What is FTP? What is UDP? What is point?
मी last time कुठे केले होते join?
Yes. So FTP, file transfer protocol, we have already done it. That is basically the application layer. We have done it. UDP, we already that also we have to study, but we have repeated in multiple times that unreliable with protocol, that is a UDP protocol, whereas reliable is TCP protocol, and these are the protocols of transport layer. PPP, we haven't come to PPP point to point. Okay, if we leave that also, C1, as we haven't discussed, we know about IP, that is a network layer, and HTTP we have already, I think we'll do in this lecture, that is application. Can any one of you read the question and answer it quickly, how it is? C? Yes, come on.
Yes, madam. So the question is encapsulation computer networks. It involves an addition of a header. Sorry, keep your mics muted.
I've muted them. Okay. Carry on.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So it involves an addition of a header and a trailer to the actual data as it moves down to TCP IP protocol stack. I think it looks like correct. That is the concept of encapsulation.
Yes.
Then second one, at the transport layer, encapsulation includes port numbers. Yes, transport layer includes port numbers, correct. And at the network layer, encapsulation, that is also correct. That's correct. Both are correct. Yeah.
Yes. So header and trailer are added. We have seen the concept of the encapsulation also, that they are including the port numbers, and the network layer and the encapsulation, they are including the IP addresses. All these concepts we have already seen. Please, I request everyone, please don't unmute yourself. If you don't have any doubt, if you're not answering, it's creating a lot of disturbance in class. As we are recording the lecture, afterwards also, whosoever will see, they'll unable to understand what we are speaking. Okay, let's proceed. Which of the following is not a disadvantage of circuit switching over the packet switching in a computer networks? So, delay in the establishment of the dedicated connection between two hosts, inefficient utilization of the resources. Obviously, if I talk about the circuit switching and packet switching, let's go back to the first lecture. What was circuit switching and what is packet switching? A quick difference. Can anyone tell me? I'm going through this assignment so that there can be quick revision for the lecture 1, so that you can recap what we have already done.
So, ma'am, in circuit switching, we have a dedicated connection between two ends, and that is like fixed for that particular communication between these two parties. But
Yeah.
in packet switching, we have multiple intermediate hops or routers
Mhm.
through which the packet traverses. So
Yes.
in packet switching, the data is broken into packets, while in circuit, it's not broken. So in
Mhm.
telephone, we use circuit, and for internet and all that, we use packet switching.
Yes, yes, absolutely correct. If I talk about delay, yes, there is a delay. If I talk about inefficient utilization of resources, yes, there are more utilization of resources in circuit switching. If I talk about less scalable, yes, that is less scalable, but provides a dedicated communication path. Uh, it's an advantage. How it's an advantage? Can anyone tell me why it's not a disadvantage and advantage?
It gives reliability.
Yes, absolutely correct. This was what I was expecting. So it gives a reliability and making the connection more reliable. So it's not at all disadvantage. It's a advantage only. The circuit switching technique advantage is that it is providing this reliability. Whereas time delay, scalability issues, all other disadvantages here. Now choose the false statement. Bridges filter network traffic based on IP address. Hubs share the bandwidth among all attached devices, which provides dedicated path. What is the bridge? In which layer the bridge is? Can anyone tell me? ये नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि विद्युत कभी मुझ पे हाथ उठा ही नहीं सकता. Again, if I'll see any of the like participant unmuting and not asking any question and like having the TV or something on, I'll remove that participant. I'm requesting you again. So bridges filter network traffic based on IP address. Hubs share the bandwidth among all attached devices. Okay. So what is the like which layer is the bridge?
Data link layer.
Okay. So in data link layer, do we have IP addresses?
No.
No.
No, ma'am.
And no filtration as well. So obviously it's a false statement. Which transport layer doesn't provide reliability? That's simple. As we have repeatedly talked in our lectures, that it's connectionless and it doesn't provide reliability. That is UDP. Okay, you are a network administrator in your college. You are asked to do the troubleshooting for an issue of a remote server using TELNET. Which of the following considerations should you keep in mind using the TELNET for this task? So first of all, what is TELNET? Can anyone tell me? Basically establishing a remote connection that is used using a telnet. We can maybe, I think in today's class we'll do it, or we have done. Okay, let's see. So telnet basically it's to provide a remote connection, and we have other alternative as well, which is SSH. And telnet is basically insecure method as well as SSH. It is very much secure than telnet, as telnet is basically providing plain text without any login credentials, whereas SSH they provide encryption and all. So that is why which of the consideration you should keep in mind? It is used for local network rather than on the internet to avoid security risk, obviously, because main issue of the telnet
Ma'am,
over.
tell me again, ma'am.
Okay. So telnet is basically to provide a remote connection. Now, if I compare telnet with SSH, telnet is insecure, and SSH is secure. Basically, telnet doesn't provide encryption and all those techniques of security, whereas SSH is advanced version of telnet and it do provide this security issue, secure. It is more secure, I'll say. So if I talk about these MCQs, telnet is more secure than SSH while making the remote connection. That is eliminated. Obviously, as I have told, SSH is more secure. It provides encryption and all those techniques. It is advisable to use telnet in local network rather than on internet to avoid security risk. Yes, obviously, if it is less secure, it's advisable that you should be on the local network rather than internet so that security issue should not be there. Telnet encrypts, as I have told you, the telnet doesn't provide security, doesn't encrypts and all. So that is why this is also eliminated. Telnet transmit data as a plain text, including login. Okay, do provide login credentials, but it transmit data as a plain text, and it doesn't encrypt basically. So B and D point. Any doubt in this? Though we'll discuss in detail about Telnet now. In the first lecture, it was just a summarized discussion.
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay. Choose the statement that correctly describes the role and responsibility of the network interface card. Yes, come on. Can anyone explain me?
Answer
it's
C. Option C, ma'am.
option C that's written. How? So NIC we have already.
Ma'am,
Yes, yes.
Chabi.
Madam, only second one is correct. I think B.
No,
I
ma'am. Option C is correct, madam. Only.
Why do you think B is correct only? Why not A?
Madam, see, NIC is actually at a hardware interface level. So the job is to convert digital data to analog. Actual communication is always analog, so it's analog. Whereas,
It's actually a data link layer also.
whereas the chunking is all at a
The
software level, it is done.
primary load, ma'am.
I don't know.
It's
Software.
actually at a data link layer, so that is why it's A also. I agree with your point that digital to analog, that is the physical, and it is also at the data link layer. So that is why the answer is A and B.
It's correct, ma'am.
Question 10th. Identify the incorrect statement related to bridge and switch. Okay, let's see the correct statement. Switch operate in full duplex mode, yes, and bridge in half duplex mode. That we have already discussed in first lecture, I think, half duplex and full duplex, how bridge operate in half duplex, and that is correct. If I talk about the other options, switch and bridges are both D option. They both are not equally important because switches are more important than bridges, I'll say. Switch broadcast traffic to all ports, while bridges broadcast traffic to the designated ports, which do not broadcast to all ports. That is incorrect. For small enterprises, a switch is more economical. No, switch is not more economical than bridge, basically. Bridge is more economical than switch. So option B is correct and ACB are incorrect.
Excuse me, what is QoS and STP?
Quality of service, that is QoS, like for small interfaces without the need of the features like quality of the service. STP, I have to check for STP, I think.
And VLAN is very like wide LAN or something.
Virtual local area network, VLAN.
Okay, virtual.
And STP.
Actually, I do not understand these features. So what do they mean?
So they mean for small enterprises, like without the need of features, the extra features they are saying, like just they are asking, like if we have a small enterprise, small business, and no extra features, no additional features are required, a switch is more economical, like it's more cheap than like in case of segmenting the traffic between two LANs than bridge. Basically, it's more economical, it's more cheaper than bridge, but it's actually the reverse. Bridges, they are more cheaper than the switches.
Okay.
Because switches have multi-ports, I'll say.
Yes, bridge is like only half duplex or something. One.
So that is why. Okay, let's go ahead. I think from next on, like what I observed is from next time onwards, like assignments, I think you can solve, and because the answers and explanation is there, it's already half an hour there, and if you have any doubt, then we can discuss that question. Is it fine, or like we should discuss like this only?
No, ma'am, it is fine, ma'am.
Okay.
Tell me slow, ma'am. Your spelling speed.
Okay. So I'll just have a quick revision of the last week, what we have done. Can anyone help me? What is DNS? So that we can proceed further and have a flow. What is DNS? Yes, we have discussed in last lecture only.
Domain name server.
Okay. Can you tell me like what are the functionalities of the DNS? The major functionality first.
Converting
அன்மியூட் பண்ணுங்க பேசுறேன் ஒரு பாட்டு பாடுறேன்.
Yes. Major functionality.
IP address.
ma'am, converting website name to IP address.
Yes. As we have done, like if suppose host name is there,
Hello.
Hello.
Madam, you are not audible.
Hello.
चल गले रे
hello.
Audio, ma'am. No strain. No.
Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
There are screen is not visible, ma'am.
Okay. I'm joining through iPad. It's
ठीक है,
disconnected.
ma'am. But screen is not visible, ma'am.
I'm joining.
Audio is very visible, ma'am.
Am I audible now?
What, ma'am? Ma'am, just a minute. Hello.
Wait for a second. Is it fine now? Okay. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I don't know like how it got disconnected. Let's proceed. My screen is visible. Everything is fine. Should we proceed?
Yeah.
Okay. So, can anyone tell me what is postal? Okay. Was it audible about the DNS thing, or should I explain it again? Okay, let's proceed. As half an hour is over, Riley. Okay. What is hostalizing? Yes, come on. I can expect the answer.
Real name, that's what you have written, real name, oblique original name. It is converted to.
Basically, I have the real name as well as original name, which is called as canonical name. But sometimes the real name is very complicated, as you can see here. So we have the nicknames of that. Like suppose this was very complicated name. So I made two nicknames, that is like enterprise.com, www.enterprise.com. So whenever I'm opening this, whenever I'm writing this host name, then also it's referring to this canonical host name. And whenever I'm writing this host name, then also I'm referring to this complicated host name. Why we are doing so? We are doing so maybe because they want more of branding, because it's tough to remember the complicated host name. So it's better to have the nicknames of that complicated host name.
पप्पा सोडून देतो पप्पाकडे नको जाऊ.
The other part is like, suppose load distribution is also there. Suppose like a client, and it is like client is sending something to the server, and we have multiple IP addresses for one server, so that load can be distributed. That is the other functionality of the DNS. And I'll just go very fast because this we have already covered in last lecture. I was expecting you guys to give me the answers and all, to make it more interactive, the session. DNS is distributed or centralized? DNS is it is distributed, because if it will be centralized, we'll have single point of failure and maintenance issues and all. And then we then we discussed about the three classes: root DNS server, top level DNS server, authoritative DNS server. Like if I search www.amazon.com, first it will go to the root DNS server, then it will go to the TLD server, which is the COM here, and then it will go to the authoritative server, that is basically Amazon or whatever we are searching about. Then we discussed about the DNS zone as well as domain and subdomain. Domain, we discussed about that, whatever is the unique name that is used to identify the website. And now subdomains, they are the part of the main domains. Suppose this is the domain and these are the part of the main domain, these are the subdomains. And now section of that, they are managed separately. Suppose they are managed by one zone. This basically, these are the how we are writing it, and this is how we are managing it. The section of the DNS system which are managed, or you can say what area, whichever you are responsible for. Like these are in one zone, this is in one zone. So which means this is managed by one zone, managed by one in charge, and this is managed by the other in charge. So it is one zone and it is the other zone. If I talk about authoritative server, it's the official source of information, and non-authoritative server, it's not the official source of information. We are getting the data from the authoritative server here. Coming to recursive and iterative, I'm going fast because we have discussed this in last class. Recursive and iterative, basically recursive is like we have a server resolver. So server, if I'm making any request, that server is taking the full responsibility to query another server on the behalf of the client. I'm making the request, it is going to one server, then another, like this server is taking the full responsibility, so that whichever server is this client is there, client is making a request. So if the answer is not here, it will make the request to the another server. So this server is having the full responsibility that I will tell you, I will resolve your query. But in case of iterative one, the client will only go for the different servers. So here the client is taking the responsibility. Then we went to we have solved the I think some MCQs also for that DNS. Then we went through this client server model, like server is whosoever is offering the service, whereas client is whosoever is requesting the service. Then we went through socket. Socket is basically the connection who is between the client and server, whichever the socket is creating a connection between them. That is basically the socket. Then we went through the FTP thing, file transfer protocol, where we went through control connection, data connection. Control connection was through commands which are sent, data connection, which is the data transfer protocol. And we discussed about that active mode and passive mode. And then trivial file transfer protocol, which is basically unreliable, whereas FTP we discussed in detail that it is more reliable. And we also discussed some applications about that. Till now, any doubt? Should we proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this was the last week explanation. Now coming to HTTP. What is the full form of HTTP?
Hypertext transfer protocol.
So, hypertext transfer protocol. Can you tell about this hypertext transfer protocol in summarized way? What is this hypertext transfer protocol? Can I say it's the heart of the web? When we have heard about it multiple times, whenever we are searching, HTTP is written there. So, or I can say it is implemented in two programs, on client side as well as on the server side. If I talk about web, now web is having multiple objects, I'll say, like HTML, JPG, Java applet and all. Okay, I'll come to that. Now, what does HTTP do?
Load the web pages.
Yes, absolutely correct. Or I'll say it defines more formally, if I say, how web clients request web pages, as you said, load the web pages, or how web clients request the web pages from web server. In other words, I can say that. And how server is transferring web pages to client. Load the web pages, or how client is requesting the web pages and from the server, and the server is responding back to the clients. So basically, it's the interaction between the client and server in general. I can say that that is the main idea behind the HTTP. Now, I have used the word here. A web server. Okay, HTTP server as well as HTTP client. So, like or I'll say a web client, so web server, or I'll say here HTTP server. It's the web server, and it is the web browser. So, browser is basically like requesting the web pages from the web server, and server is responding to the browser here. That is what is happening. It is application level protocol. We know that it is heterogeneous in nature, and it can provide different content basically, and it is interoperable. This word is used multiple times. Can anyone tell me? Yes, come on.
About interoperable, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
So it means that different types of systems can use different protocols can use it. So like
Yes,
say
yes.
FTP or SMTP. or any other like protocol can use
Can I say that
these
different
things.
type of data or different type of content every side is having? So HTTP is providing a mechanism so that both the side content can have a what can I say in the other words? If I say that one type of content is in one side and other content is in other side, to make it more compatible when they both are communicating, that is basically interoperable. Can I say that? And what about TCP or UDP? As we have discussed, it takes place on TCP or UDP. Can anyone tell me? Yes, come on. It do take place on TCP.
TCP, ma'am.
Yes. And what is the port number?
80.
Yes. So what happens here? Like if I talk about the process, basically HTTP client, if I'll write something like HTTP www.xyz. Suppose edu department home.index suppose. Now what will HTTP do? Now let's see. It will the HTTP process, basically it will initiate a TCP connection. As we know that it is, so basically the transport layer used is here TCP. So it will process the initiate a TCP connection to the server here, which is www.server.edu on port number 80, as you said. Please,
वाह
Nivesh,
देखा
please
दो
mute yourself.
इंटेलिजेंट कैसे बातें करते हैं इतने समझदार हैं I'm sorry ma'am.
Okay. I was going to remove you. Please be careful. Please don't unmute yourself. Multiple types of media is supported. Yes, absolutely correct. HTTP use TCP. Absolutely correct, Aman. Lot of distraction. Okay. So HTTP client process initiate a TCP connection to the server on the port number, as you told, port number is 80, which is the default port number of HTTP. And there will be socket also for the connection, as we have already done. Now, the HTTP client sends HTTP request message to server. First, basically, a TCP connection is built between them. Then the request is sent to the server via socket. And it will include this, basically department, home.index and all. Now, on the other side, now what will be done by HTTP server? It will process this request, which it has received through the socket, retrieve the objects, whatever is in this website, and send the response message to the client. Then HTTP server, nothing is there, just what is happening, as I told, client will have a request the server. That is what is in these three statements. First of all, TCP connection, as I said that for the transport layer TCP is used, so TCP connection is made. Then a client is sending an HTTP request to the server. It is processing the request, retrieving everything, like whatever there is in the HTML page or anything, whatever there is there, retrieving everything. And then HTTP server, as there is a TCP connection, it is the server it is telling the TCP to close it, TCP connection, as it has already processed the TCP request. Oh, sorry, HTTP request. And TCP connection will be closed once HTTP client will receive it. So once it has received the response message, connection will be closed. Understood? Can anyone explain what I have already told now only? Nothing is there. A TCP connection is built for the transportation, and we also have studied that the port number is 80. So TCP connection is initiated from client to server at port number 80, which is the default port number. Client sends the HTTP request to the server, and we know how it will send via socket. Server processes the request. Server tells the TCP. Okay, some question is there. Ma'am, doesn't both HTTP, HTTPS works the same? Yes. What is the difference between there is a question from the Sudha. Ma'am, does both HTTP and HTTPS works the same? Can anyone answer this question? What is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS?
So, ma'am, in HTTPS, we have the concept of certificate. So we use it for validation that the server is correct. So a public-private key pair is for handling that.
Absolutely correct.
HTTP
Aman.
is more secure
As well as
version.
Sujata. It's basically for the security purpose. Certificate is there and it's more secure. This is the only difference between HTTP and HTTPS. So this was the functioning. This is the functioning, a normal functioning of HTTP, how it works basically. And the other things. If I talk about HTTP client, basically. HTTP client, that is a browser. And as you might have seen, there is a dynamic static. Okay, I'll come to that. And what is the URL? How we write it? That is protocol, host, port, path. It's already there in the slides, basically. And if port is 80, then it's no need to mention the port number. And if it's another port, then we have to give this port number, basically. If I talk about web documents, it's basically categorized into 3 categories: static, dynamic, active. Can anyone tell me the difference fast? What's the difference between these? Yes, come on. Can I say that they are stored on the server as it is, like list or something is there, then it's stored as it is. Now dynamic, basically they use CGI. Can someone tell me about CGI? I hope I'm not that fast. I just want to complete, because it's week 2. Common gateway interface, absolutely correct. We do not change content of static, absolutely correct, Sujata. Sorry, I saw the message late only. Okay, it's fine. Okay, now can you tell me about common gateway interface as you have told Aman or anyone else? What do you, it's a full form. What is common gateway interface? What is the working of that? Any idea? Come on. Come on, come on. It is a middleware. Okay. What else? Middleware between. I got it. It's a middleware, Aman. Can you give more elaborate answer? Let's see. This dynamic document, static is whatever we are storing, it is being stored as it is. Client is like here, there we have a client. Here we have a server. So client is basically requesting something, and whatever it's requesting, it is basically the static document is sent as it is, whatever like it was. Now, if I talk about dynamic means we are dynamically changing it. That is basically being changed. And then a word was used, CGI, Common Gateway Interface. Okay, someone has written interface between HTTP server and the program. Yes, absolutely correct. Or I can say that it is an interface, or it is tying web server to any program, as you have told, Sarah. Interface or tying them that produces content, or a middleware. So what it is doing is, there is a program here. This is client. This is the server end. We are requesting it. Client is requesting it. The server is giving now dynamic HTML document. Now CGI tells the server, web server, how to run those scripts or program and pass back their output. It is tying the web server and the program which is producing the content, or it is telling the server how to run these scripts basically in the program and return their output. It is dynamically changing. The data is dynamically changing. That is basically the role of CGI. To run the program, it is which is basically here to run the scripts, to run the program and pass the output, tying this server to the program. That is basically the role of that, so that we can have the dynamic HTML document here. What about active document? Any idea? Is it running on client side, or it is running on server side? So here we saw that the program is in the server side, and CGI is basically tying a server as well as a program.
Madam, active document, and I heard another one, active server pages from Microsoft. Are these similar?
Active server pages.
That is a Microsoft terminology.
They're different. Now it's basically, if I talk about active document, it's basically on the client side. Are you getting me? They are running on the client side.
Does this involve usage of interactive things like, say, JavaScript for? So basically, the sites are reactive.
Can you repeat? You are saying that they are providing the usage of JavaScript. Yes, they are having the JavaScript, so that.
So, like it can give automatic or dynamic responses based on users' input.
So basically, I don't want to request the server every time, or I don't want to reload. I'll say I don't want to reload, constantly reloading or contacting the server every time. I want some functionalities that it should be like instantly given to me, and to run it on the client side basically. Are you getting? So run, if I talk about Java program, if I talk about JVM plugin and all, so what they are doing, we are running in the like we are locally running in the browsers JVM plugin, like, and we are running on the client side here. So rather than reloading the page again and again, which means rather than contacting the server again and again, I'm contacting this client. Basically, here the client side has the functionality, like it is running on the client side, so that I shouldn't reload, I shouldn't go to the server again and again. I can have the dynamic functionality rather than just displaying the static content. So if we are running on the client side, that is why they are saying the active content, basically using the client side script. Any doubt? Frameworks like React.js and AngularJS help in active documents. Yes. Okay. Just out of box question, like you have mentioned, it's not related to networks at all. Is React.js a framework? Out of box question, just for the, as it's like, ma'am explain 3 handshaking. Okay, I'll come to the transport layer soon. Naga Yogesh, I can't give the permission as you have asked. I am recording here. I'll upload tomorrow on the YouTube channel, and you can see the recording. At the end of the lecture, again, I'll write the YouTube channel name. You can see the recording there. Don't worry about the recording. Okay. Yes, Aman, as you have asked React.js, and yes, they are active documents. Can you tell me? Yes, React.js is framework. No, React.js is library actually. It's not a framework. Anyone? Oh, okay. We'll discuss at the end of the lecture if we have a free time, because it's not related to networks at all. I don't want to shift this. Okay, it's a network class. I'll come to that. Yes, React and Angular they are the active documents, so that we can like we don't have to reload and all. That privilege is there. Okay, we'll discuss about that afterwards, Aman. So now talking about HTTP request and response messages, as you have written, so that's why this question clicked into my mind. So if I talk about request message, again, this is just, these are in the slides as well. There is a request line, there is a header, then a blank line, and the body. As we are requesting here, so here we are having the request line. As we are basically responding here, so we have a status line. Status line. Status means what is like, I'll come to that 200 and all. Is it okay? Is it bad? Or something. We'll come to it. And then again, body. If I talk about the request line as the status line, how we are writing, that is request type. Then there is a space between them, the URL, then HTTP version. If I talk about the status line, again, we have here HTTP version, status code, and the status phrase. Is it okay? Is it error or something like that? I'll not go to the HTTP methods here. I'll just go through like, okay, we'll discuss in MCQs only HTTP status code as well as HTTP methods. When I'll come to the MCQs, we'll discuss that. Okay. And then we have request headers and all, everything. Okay, there was an example. Let's discuss that, which was in the class. we use get method. Just the like more popular methods, I'll say, or more methods which are more used frequently, that only we'll discuss. What about get method? What is the functionality of get method? Can anyone tell me? Yes. What is the functionality of HTTP get method? This is an HTTP method which requests a document from the server. It's the mostly used, I'll say, rather than famous. To request a document from the server, we use the get method. Reading data from the server or getting the document from the server, fetching the data from the server. Absolutely correct. So if I'm saying that like I'm retrieving the document, so we'll use the get method to retrieve the image or the document. So as there was a example in the slide, we use a get method to retrieve the image with the path user. I'm just writing whatever it's in the slide here. Image 1. The request line shows the method get, the URL, and the HTTP version. So if I'm requesting request get method, get, and then this URL, and then HTTP version. Like suppose 1.1. This is how request type space URL and space HTTP version. This is how we usually write. Now, the header has 2 lines. Okay, I'll come to, okay, the header has 2 lines that show the client can accept images in GIF or JPG format. This is what accept, how you'll accept image. So what is accept method? So basically, what is the medium format that the client can accept? That is there. And if I talk about the response, again, that is similar. Now I have HTTP version here. Whatever HTTP version, suppose here it was 1.1. 1 minute. Then space. Okay, I think I have written it incorrectly. It's get space URL and space HTTP. The slashes are not there here as written here. HTTP version, status code, like suppose 200, and status phrase or message. That is basically whatever the message. And then here, if I say the response message, it contains the status line and the 4 lines of header. They are saying the header line defines date, server. Okay, whatever the date is, this is a response message, whatever the server is. Then they have written mine. Can anyone tell me what is mine? Yes.
Madam, it is a Microsoft Internet Mail extension, but basically how mails can be transferred, that is a kind of encoding. That's what I feel.
Okay. What about others?
It's a multimedia, anything other than plain text, how to transfer over,
Yes.
yeah.
It's basically, if I say multi-purpose internet mail extension rather than Microsoft. Mail protocol, okay. So basically, yes, it's used mostly in basically emails, and it's an extension to mail, I'll say. I will come to that also. Used in SMTP mail and all. And it supports different kinds of file types, as you said. How to handle the text, audio, video, everything. It is done by that, MIME version. Now, the other example was, though I'll not write the post one. What is the post method used for? Yes, come on.
Post is writing to the server database.
So basically sending the information from client to server or writing it. And get means to get the information from that. The same way they have explained about the accept thing and the mime and everything they have used. Then coming to telnet. Today, as we saw the assignment 1, we have discussed about that. What is the full form of telnet first? Yes, come on. What is the full form of telnet? I'm getting the replies, but absolutely correct, Swasti. It's telecommunication network, not terminal network, telephone network. Absolutely correct, Sarah. It's sorry for the calls and all, telecommunication networks. So as I told you that it allows to have the remote connection. To another computer or server. It's like a plain text as we have done. It's not secure. We have read it. Like if I talk about like what we are doing here in HTTP browser, we are like browser, it is sending HTTP request automatically. But here telnet is like we are manually sending HTTP request and reading the raw responses basically. That is basically telnet. Okay, last time someone was asking about HTTP proxy server as well. Can I think difference between HTTP proxy server and something last time we were discussing about. Now, can anyone tell me, the person who was asking, ma'am, explain how to do problems in assignments? Yes, we'll have MCQs now only. I think if you'll see the lectures and see these videos as well, I think it will be easier for you to solve the problems. I think so. Though we'll now only do the MCQs related to this. I can't solve the assignments until it's like solutions are given to you. It's not allowed. Okay, can you explain me what is HTTP proxy server? Last time only we discussed because there was someone who was having doubt. Come on. Yes, yes.
Madam, it is some kind of intermediary between the client and the actual server to handle requests and balance multiple servers. For example, if you want to have multiple servers for the same client, this proxy will balance the load, okay, coming from different clients. So proxy server is a kind of a load balancing server, could be a proxy server, yeah.
Yes, it is intermediary server that is basically sitting between client and server. Absolutely correct. And if I say that
say, I'll give you an example. But for example, you type anything, let us say google.com or something. So google.com is a proxy, but actually the actual server may be google1.com or 2.com, media.com. Indirectly, it routes through the corresponding local nearest server availability. So the actual server we don't know. We all operate with proxy server.
Can I say it's more of anonymity or security purpose?
Yes, yes, anonymity, security. Yes, yes.
Yes. So basically, client is requesting the proxy instead of server, and then proxy requesting the server, as well as proxy forwarding to the server, as well as server is processing the request and responding to the proxy instead of the client. So basically, it is anonymous. The client is anonymous to the server is anonymous to the client, and we can say that it's for the security purpose in one way. Okay, someone has written, we request to proxy server, Hitansh, and it passed request to the destination server. Yes, absolutely correct, both of you. Okay, now let's have a quick MCQ session.
Ma'am, a question. So proxy is basically a facilitator.
Yes. A proxy is intermediator between client and server, I can say.
Okay.
So if I want to request a server, it's going through proxy. If the server is responding back, it's going through the proxy. So client don't know where the server is sitting. Server don't know who is the client actually.
For
It's
example, madam,
anonymous.
this firewall which organizations put, it is the kind of a proxy server. First, it addresses and validates security checks. Only when it is valid, then only it calls the actual server inside the company. Okay, something. Firewall could be a proxy server, correct?
Yes. Firewall. Oh, is there a difference between a firewall and a proxy server, as you have told now only? Like, yes, there can be a proxy firewall, like which is having, as you told, that it's an intermediary, but we can have other type of firewalls as well.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So,
Firewall, the role is basically to screen the incoming client requests.
filter the traffic, or
Are they have viruses? Are they some malicious? So in that context, the role of a proxy server is to shield unauthorized accesses. And
yes. Yeah, we do have the proxy firewall as well, where like it is acting a middleman of the request and the replies basically. So that is also a type of firewall here.
okay.
Okay, now let's solve the MCQs. Which of the following is the default? Okay, someone has written, please upload drive link in the recording sheet. Yes, absolutely. I haven't uploaded in the drive. Today only I'll upload it. Yes, Swasti.
Yeah,
Okay.
80.
Okay. Oh, don't speak. Please
Oh.
write the chat so that others can also answer. Yes, absolutely correct. 80. Don't write like this 80 or so. Write 1A, 1B. Both Bimlesh and Sarah. Write 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, and so. Okay. HTTP is considered a stateless protocol. What does stateless mean? In the context, the server can remember every client's previous request. Each request is independent. The server does not automatically retain session information. The server requests a persistent connection to the maintained state information. Client retain all the state in the database on the server. To be absolutely correct. Okay, I'm not sure whether you know that HTTP is stateless, but the stateless do mean that request is independent. The name stateless itself is signifying that the server don't have to retain the information. Remember that it's a stateless protocol. Which HTTP protocol is typically used to submit data? Yes. Okay. Oh. Okay, everyone is correct here. It's 3B. Sarah, it's 3B. Okay. In HTTP request, which header specifies the internet media type that the client will accept from the server? Fourth, Hitansh, this is fourth question. So which header specifies the internet media type? Yes, Bimlesh, you are correct. It's 4A, everyone. It's accept, basically. Simple, like maybe you guys were thinking that it can't be so easy. It's actually 4A, accept only. What is the main purpose of HTTP status code and server's response? They indicate the type of content being returned. They provide the information about how to parse the content. They inform the client of the result of its request. They identify the specific server software handling the request. Absolutely correct. It's 5th C. They inform the client of the result. Which HTTP status code indicate that the requested resource could not be found on the server? You might have seen, we haven't discussed, but it's very easy. You might have seen many times this. Yes, absolutely correct. 404. What is the main purpose of HTTP? File transfer, email communication, web browsing, and data retrieval or remote login? Absolutely correct, everyone. It's web browsing and data retrieval. Which HTTP method is used to submit data to be processed to a server? Okay, I think it's repeated. It's basically post. Why B? It's post. Which HTTP method is used to update an existing resource? Bimlesh, please write the number 8 or 9. Otherwise, it will be confusing. It's actually put. It's not delete, Sarah. It's put. Which HTTP response code indicates a successful request? This also, I think I'm here writing just which are very trivial, which everyone has seen that. Here's 200. What does HTTP head method do? I think they are very easy. Yes. Which HTTP method is used for partial updates to the resource? Yes, it's actually patch. These were the methods. There was no question as such question in HTTP. So these were the easy questions only, I think. I'll come to HTML once we'll complete that. Okay, let's move to HTML. What is the full form of HTML?
Hypertext markup language.
Yes, absolutely correct. And if I talk about it's basically language, not a protocol, which is used here. And just I'll discuss in short about this. And we have the tags here as well, which are the components of the page, I'll say. Like we have the tags like P, which is the paragraph here, and they're not case sensitive. What do you mean by they're not case sensitive?
So
Upper
both upper and
and
lower case works for them.
Okay, and how we write? HTML head title, then this head part is basically then whatever the title is there. This is closed, then we'll close this head part, then we'll close this. Head part means the heading is closed now. Then we'll write the body here, then whatever the content is there, and then the body will be closed, and then the HTML part will be closed. This is how we create an HTML document. It's easy and we can implement it also. You might have seen in the lectures as well. So there are many tags and all which are discussed, like link tag in the, what is link tag? Yes, come on. What is that? Link. We are linking to someone. One document is linking to another one. Can I say? Yes, absolutely correct. Link page. It's not. Okay, no. It's not link page to image. Is it link page to image only? We can link to anything. Like we can link to another page as well. That is what link. Yes, href. Yes. So we can link to any link can be to anything. I'll say link to any content. Yes, Swasti. Right way to see that. Say that link between two contents. Yes, it can be outside. Like a folder. It can be in the same folder. It can be outside the web page or something like that. Now, again, we have the image tag as well. Though we'll see some questions related to that. How we write, we'll see that in the, I'll not tell you here. We'll see that in the MCQs only, the source, the URL thing and all. This is basically how we write that. And then the division tag. These are all the tags basically which are used in basically the web page. Here, suppose I can write in the body, if I'm writing the div tag, basically this div tag is used for, like if I want to style or something, give the colors and all. So I use this div tag. So suppose I'm giving the color here, whatever the color is, and then the hash code of the color. Then the heading tag also, like H1, H2. These are the headings here, which I can give. So these are basically, this is basically the HTML thing. This is the language, which we'll not discuss in more detail. Just I'll have some MCQs so that you can go through that and understand the concept. Yes. What does HTML stand for? Already we have discussed. First, Sarah. Okay. Hypertext markup language, absolutely correct. What about second? What about second? It's HTML. Which of the following is the correct structure? Now only we discussed. Absolutely correct. A, HTML head title, then title is closed, then the body, and then the body is closed, and the HTML tag is closed. Which tag is used to create a hyperlink? Now only we discussed. Yes, fourth B. Which HTML tag is used to display the largest heading? Yes. Fifth, 1 minute. Fifth rather than sixth. Okay. It's fifth A. Okay, can you tell me what is H1, H2, H3? I'm not going to sixth question. Please hold a second. Heading, but heading tags, absolutely correct. But what do you mean by largest heading and the smallest? What does this indicate, H1, H2?
So the size that is rendered on the web page.
Yes. So largest is H1, then the smaller than that is H2, then the smaller than that is H3. Yes, font size, absolutely correct, everyone. What is the correct way to insert an image? I thought through this we can cover all of the content of HTML. That's why I completed the content very soon and came to MCQs. Absolutely correct. Image source is equal to image.jpg B1. Which tag is used for inserting a line break in HTML? No, Aman, it's not A or B. Not these, Sarah.
It's C. So
Yeah, C. Yes. What is default alignment of a paragraph? B tag. Basically, it's left. Which tag is used to add a video in HTML5? It's simple only. Everyone is answering incorrectly here. It's simple only. No one is correct. Yes, Chanda, and Swasti, it's 9B, video. What is the correct way to add a background color in HTML? Now only we discussed how to write the color. We should have the style thing. Everyone who are writing this B1, it's not like we should have that style thing here. That's why it's C basically. Okay. Now coming to the TELNET thing. Let's discuss that in brief. What is TELNET? Can any one of you explain what is TELNET? What is TELNET?
It's for remote login.
Yes.
Madam,
It's a
I can share.
transport layer protocol.
Yes.
Transport layer protocol which helps us to do remote login.
Yes, absolutely correct.
Yeah, it is slow and sequential in its nature of transmission.
Yes.
And
Remote login, basically. Yes, absolutely correct.
Okay.
Yes, what were you saying, Gopal?
Yeah, I can share my first experience long back in the mid and late 80s. At that time when there was no internet and the only mainframe and terminals.
Okay.
So in college, we took one terminal, just a plain terminal with RS-232 interface and a modem. Modem means, you can connect to a telephone line and have data is transferred from digital to analog from RS-232 interface with the telephone line. Okay. So the first command used to type is to connect telnet and then some IP address dot. The university used to give connect to this address telnet blank some 120 dot this. Then immediately after some time something, immediately the login prompt will come. Okay.
Yes.
That experience I remember. That's the first way when there was, I think most of you, I think, would have been born in the internet age, but pre-internet, that the only way to connect to mainframes is via telephone modem at 300 and 1200 PPS, 1200 bits per second. That means 0.12 kbps. Remember what they are today. Okay. So suppose you want to connect from, you have a terminal here in India and you want to connect to a computer in MIT, you have to pay STD charges, everything, every minute, 75 rupees.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very expensive to make connection and download some files from the using FTP from the MIT server. So all researchers, what they used to do is, in those days, if you want to get research papers, people used to send letters to the professors, and they used to take its own time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, to send copies of the papers. Okay, but if you want quickly, what they used to do is connect a terminal using ISD, international dialing ISD call. And in those days, ISD call is I told you, 70 rupees per minute to America. Okay, so quickly connect the telnet to that whatever is MIT Stanford computer, and using FTP download that paper and then close the connection. So that speed of the modem was just 1200 bits per second. So imagine that 1 MB file, if you want to download from US as a paper, how much of STD, not STD, international dialing, okay, 75 rupees per minute it will take. So it was very expensive. So so that was, that's just sharing my experience, because I was born in that, I belong to that era. So, okay.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Yeah, it was too expensive at that time. We all can imagine. Now coming to NVT, Network Virtual Terminal. Can any one of you tell that? As we have discussed that it is remote login, and how he shared his experience, how it was done through Telnet, the remote login and all. Can you tell about Network Virtual Terminal and why it's needed? Come on.
For establishing the connection through the login, I mean, remote login, we have to provide the credential, and through that NVT, it will connect to the server in that particular network.
Basically, rather than saying that it will connect through NVT, it's like if I write something in terminal, like type a text, NVT, the data which I have written, it will be converted to a certain format, which is called NVT format, basically. And then it will be sent to server. So that server can read in the same NVT format, process it, and respond it NVT format. This is a particular standard way for different types of computers to communicate over telnet connection. I think I'm too fast while I'm speaking. So I'll say that it is a standard way for different types of computers to communicate over telnet communication. So if I want to communicate over telnet connection, so there should be a standard way that is provided by, like, that is NVT, basically client. If it is sending a text, it is writing, it is basically converted to NVT format, and then server so that server can read it and server can text back the NVT format. That is basically the role of that NVT. And this is telnet. And how we write, that is the same way he told, that telnet, and then the whatever the website name you want to basically search and all, and remote login and all. That is basically yes,
Madam, in those days, no website name, direct pure IP address, because there was no concept of DNS. I don't know.
Yes. There was no concept of DNS. Yes. Okay. Now again, coming to the questions. Wait a second. So what is the primary purpose of telnet? What is the primary purpose of telnet? Remote login and command execution. Which default port number does telnet use? Maybe you don't know. I think so. As we haven't discussed, it's basically 23. What type of protocol is telnet? Please write 3 and so, Chanda. It's basically text-based and unencrypted. As we saw that it's text-based now only we saw. What is the major security issue with Telnet? It transmits data in plain text. Which of the following is secure alternative to Telnet? We have discussed now only SSH. We have discussed many times about this now. Okay. Now, I think we are 1 week back, like going 1 week, like discussing week 2 only right now, because I want that it should be in detail and more MCQ should be there. Okay, just we'll have 5 minutes of break. I have to see my kid. Just 5 minutes of break. Or 2 minutes only. Give me just 2 minutes. I'll be back soon. Okay, someone is saying discuss week 3 topics. If I'll discuss week 3 topics, then obviously week 2 topics will be left. I asked in the last class that should I only come up with the MCQs, but everyone was like, we have to discuss the content as well. So it will take time. I can't rush it. Or in the next class, we'll be more up to MCQs and all, so that both the weeks will be covered. Okay. Just give me 5 minutes. Okay, sorry. Let's see. What about others' opinion? Like, should we go for MCQs or is it fine? The speed is fine. Are you okay with discussing these week 2? Like, we are behind, but someone is saying that. Please, can any one of you like write in the chat what are your opinions so that I can get the feedback and we can discuss accordingly. Speed is fine. What about others? Yes means whether the speed is fine. Week 3 topics, okay. It is fine. Okay, some are saying week 3 topics and some are saying it is fine. Okay, it is fine. Okay, it's not possible today for week 3. I'll make sure that week 3 and week 4 will be discussed next week. Like, I'll try it. I'm not saying I'll make sure, because I don't want to rush. Like, first week I was rushing, trying to complete whole week's content, but it was like everyone was saying it is like, please go slow. That's why I thought, okay, it's okay to be slow, but everyone should understand the topic. That's why I'm being slow. Okay, and if suppose you have to do the assignment and we haven't done in the week 3 topics here, you can mail me about the topic which you haven't understood, or the concept which you haven't understood, or if you like are having any doubt in any concept, we can talk in the mail as well. I'll write the mail address at the end of the lecture, so that you can solve the assignments also. Okay, coming to SMTP, though I can't answer the same question, but I can give you the similar question. Week 3 10 question, ma'am. Can you mail me? I can answer you in the mail. I'll not answer the same question because it's not allowed, as you have to submit it. I can give you the similar question, or I can explain you the concept for that, so that it will be easier for you, because we haven't discussed in the class. Okay, Latha? I hope so your doubt is cleared. Okay, coming to SMTP. Can you tell me what is SMTP? The full form of SMTP?
Simple mail transfer protocol.
Simple mail transfer protocol. Okay. Now we have the user agent, we have the mail transfer agent here. User agent, they like we have SMTP clients, SMTP server, and we are having two components here. User agent as well as mail transfer agent. They are preparing the messages and they're transferring the mail basically. That is basically SMTP. They are relaying the mail, I'll say. And I think so SMTP keywords, you all know mail from recipient to, though we will discuss in MCQs again. Again, we have the status code, and it's like if you have starting from 2, all of them are success. If it's starting from 3, the status code, they are 3-digit. It is like command, it can be accepted with more information. 4, it is rejected, but it is temporary. And this is basically totally rejected, I'll say. Now, talking about the connection establishment and all, that also we'll discuss further on how the TCP connection in the coming lectures here. How messages are exchanged. Like suppose what is done, from where the mail is coming, and then this is the client, this is the server. It will send the status, like suppose it is okay, like 250, the status code, and whatever the message is, the okay. Then whosoever is the receiver, the recipient too. Then again the status code will come, and then the data will be sent, and then the from, to, and everything, the subject and everything will be there. And again, coming to mine thing, we have already done that mine thing. One more thing is there, that here, what is the purpose of mine? We saw that it is used for mail. That is why we are here using the like mine thing, which is an SMTP extension. We are discussing it again. Now, it is always like send in SKY code, 7-bit SKY, NVT SKY code. As we have discussed, NVT is a kind of format in which we have to basically transfer, so that server can also transfer at the same thing and the client can also transfer in the same thing. So what is happening here is that MIME is basically converting into 7-bit SKY, and then basically transferring into to the user basically. So MIME is transferring the non-SKY code to the 7-bit NVT SKY code. That is the main use of that MIME here. And we can, as we have done that, there can be one more thing. There can be certain constraints as well. Suppose the size is not allowed, this much of size is allowed, video suppose is not allowed. That is also like MIME will specify it. And one more thing, it is very rich in the size of headers. If I say that it is very rich in the size of header, what does it mean? It means that it can handle different types of data. As we have that like MIME thing also, which can convert us, and it can send video also, it can send audio also. So it is very rich in the size of like I'll say to handle the different type of data, it can handle that. Now coming to POP and IMAP. It was used for sending the mail. Now coming for the handling the mail services or receiving mail. How? Can someone tell me the difference between POP as well as IMAP? Yes, come on. You can. Yes. Come on. Write in the chat or unmute yourself. What do you guys think?
In terms of security, one is more secure than the other.
First of all, what is IMAP and what is POP?
POP is post office protocol and IMAP is internet message access protocol.
What are the functionalities?
Both are for transferring messages in SMTP.
Okay. What if I say that whenever it is basically for the receiving messages, receiving mails, and if a mail comes, then in POP, it is downloaded on the device.
Yes.
Whereas in IMAP, it remains on server. The mail is not on device, it is basically on the server. And if I say it is downloaded on the device, and if I delete it, and one more thing, it is remained on the server, and it is also it can be synchronized multiple multiple devices as well, because it's on server. If it's on server, then multiple devices can synchronize it, multiple devices can see it. And the other difference is like it is having one-way synchronization, which means the changes made on the device, it will not reflect on the server. Here it is two-way synchronization, because when we are sending it, it is remaining on the server. So offline, we can read it because it is on a device. Offline, we can't read it because it is on the server. If I say for single device, this is better. But for multiple device, because it is on server and multiple device can see it, it is better. And it is less secure because it is on your device. And if it is on server, so it is more secure. This is the basic difference between POP and IMAP. I've summarized it rather than explaining whole thing. POP is more simpler, I can say. User can retrieve it, user can delete it or keep it on their system basically. IMAP, it is having more features, I'll say. And it is on the server, I will say. And when we have multiple devices, so it is better to use IMAP. And when we have single device, it's better to use POP. Now, let's see the questions.
There was one more difference, if I remember correctly, right? In POP, we cannot do much with the mail, but in IMAP, we can also change the mail server type and also download parts of it or keep the parts of it, something like that. Like we have more functionalities with IMAP than
Yes,
with POP.
yes, we have more features, more functionality,
Yes.
with the IMAP, absolutely correct, than the POP.
I have one question with the MIME. Like as you said that there are few constraints like size and type of the messages, but again you also mentioned that MIME is rich in the size of the headers, so we can have a kind of a large virtual space where we can contain all the messages. So it's kind of like little bit contradictory.
Contradictory.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Sometimes the application is like, we want this, we don't want the video messages to come. We want the application demand is like, it shouldn't be like, the size should be this much of constraint. Like there shouldn't be video message, then MIME can help in that particular application. Otherwise, MIME is rich with headers. It can have video, audio, and everything. But the constraint can be from the application side. You got that?
Okay, so the privilege is optional.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
got it.
Yes, absolutely correct, Sarah. Okay, please explain one-way sync in POP. Anyone can explain one-way sync in POP? Yes, come on. If I say that server, if I once I have downloaded on the device, whatever changes I will do on the device, that will not be reflected on the server. Am I correct, Aman? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So whatever changes now, once downloaded on the server, whatever changes I'll be doing in the IMAP, like IMAP is downloading on the server. Now, whatever changes I'll do, it will be reflected on the server, which means two-way synchronization. In POP, whatever changes I'm doing now after downloading, it will not be reflected on the server because it's on my device now. That is why it's one-way and one-way synchronization, whereas IMAP is two-way synchronization. Any doubt now, Aman? Yes, Aman?
So the control is transferred from server to devices?
Here, we are downloading on the device. Here, it is remaining on the server IMAP. Now, if I'm making any changes, it is downloaded on the device. It will not be reflected on your server. That is what I meant.
Oh, okay.
That it's offline. We can use it offline as well because it's on a device. That's why we are saying the other one is it's used for single device because mostly it is more suitable for the single device. Whereas in
So
I,
it is a unidirectional or local change. That's what you're saying.
yes, one way or unidirectional. In other words.
Okay. Got it.
Got it now.
Okay.
So, ma'am, there will be less integrity of the messages if it is locally saved on the device and not reflected on the server.
Yes. That is why I said less secure.
Yes, ma'am, got it.
Madam, this protocol called IMAP allows us to change on the device side, but it doesn't get reflected on the server, correct?
POP. You're
POP.
talking about
POP.
Yes.
Okay, but only when you connect to the server and sync it, then only it happens. Huh?
POP is like we are downloading on device only. It will download on device only. We can't make change on server. You have to download on device.
Because I'm trying to, I'm trying to reflect on one scenario sometime back when the internet was not cheap, like 90s. People have laptops, and in the flight, we don't have internet, right? So people used to on the laptop they used to respond to all the emails, and then once they land it, they connect to internet and then transfer, sync it. So without internet, people used to respond to all the emails. Okay, so what you call that? Because that situation we cannot imagine today, but you see a situation where once people download all the mails and then they sit in the flight where there is no internet and they keep responding to all the emails, reply button and answer everything, and once they land, then they connect to the internet and then do that. So is it possible today? I don't know.
I don't think so. Anyone having any idea about that? I don't think so. It's like mail is failed, sending failed. If there's no, there's no privilege.
I remember that in 95, 98.
Yes, to get the idea how the things were there. Like sending the mail and like when the net is on, it will be sent. Okay, maybe I'll read about that thing.
Okay, yeah, but this practical. So it happened. This is what used to be the practice. People download all the mails before getting onto the flight. In the flight, they leisurely go through each email and answer that and everything. Reply, answer everything. Once they land, it gets synced and goes. Okay.
Nowadays, this is not like that. It's like mail is failed, or we can't send it. Also, we can't open the mailbox. Also,
that's what I'm wondering. Why that facility is not there? That is good, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But it used to be there. I remember. I also used to do that. I don't know.
Maybe I'll read about that.
Okay.
How the things were there. Yes, because I have no idea that this facility was there. Okay, coming to again the MCQs part. Okay. First question, what is the primary purpose of SMTP? Come on, fast. 1A. Which port? So you know. It's 25. What does SMTP stands for? Again, an easy question only. Nilanjan, please write the question number as well. Simple mail transfer. Which protocol is used along with SMTP to receive emails? To receive emails. Sarah, fourth question. It's POP, Aman. Email, not web services. What is the role of MPA in SMTP? Delivering emails, absolutely correct. Which command is used in SMTP to specify the sender's email address? Right, 6th and 7th. Which SMTP to specify the recipient's email address? 6th and 7th. Write both the answers. Yes, come on. Absolutely correct. 6A, 7B. What does SMTP data command do? Seventh one. Now, 8th one. What does SMTP data command do? Begins the email body content. Absolutely correct. Which SMTP response code indicates a successful email? I think we have now only, I think so, we have done now only. Ninth. It's A, 250, and 10th. Which of the following is secure version of SMTP? Which of the following is a secure version of SMTP? Absolutely correct. 10th B. Which of the following SMTP port is used for encrypted communication? I think you might not know because we haven't discussed here. So it's basically 11th D, 465. I'll post this in the drive and the drive link also. What does SMTP quit command do? Quit itself, you might know. Yes, closes. What type of protocol is SMTP? Thirteenth. Connection oriented. Absolutely correct. It's not connectionless, it's connection oriented. Which SMTP command is used to initiate a session? Initiate. Quit. How quit? Initiate. 14th A, hello. In which of the following is not an SMTP command? Absolutely correct. What about others? Aman is correct. Yes. Get is basically HTTP. What does SMTP use to transfer messages? Now only we discussed something. Yes, TCP. What is the role of SMTP relay server? Seventeenth B. Which SMTP response code indicates that an email could not be delivered due to permanent error? It's 550. What is the difference between SMTP and IMAP? Basically, it's for sending mails, and IMAP and POP are receiving mails. What is the purpose of SMTP verify command? Obviously, it's verify. Okay. SNMP, I think only SNMP is left for the second week, and we'll quickly, like, I'll do my best that we can complete the third, and fourth I'll start last week, like next week. Any doubts? I'll write my email again. You can mail me the questions you are having the doubt. I'll also write the YouTube channel. You can see the recorded videos as well. So, any doubts?
Madam, are you from IIT Hyderabad or?
I'm from IIT Tirupati.
Tirupati, okay. Earlier used to be IIT Hyderabad, right?
No. I was in IIT Tirupati itself.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Okay, thank you, class. If you have any doubt, mail me and refer to the YouTube channel for the recorded lectures. Okay, thank you.